Afternoon. How are we doing? Afternoon, Bogdan. First like, good man. Keep the thumbs coming. Afternoon, Steve. I hate being number 2. Oh, well. Better than being number 3. Danny, sitting in my secret Lab Titan Evo 2022 chair. Good one. I've got a horn. Afternoon, Crom, Harold, JC, Gulam, Amy, how are you doing? Aussie dollar, US dollar kills me. Yeah, we'll have a look at that in a minute. It's going up. US dollar's going down. Afternoon, Derp. Yarp, haven't seen you for a while. Afternoon, Brian, Fletch, Marion. What's going on with Aussie dollar yen? Don't know. We'll have a look. Afternoon, Virginia. So DAX this morning, the opening range breakout pre-market today. Paid the mortgage. 5-minute ORB. Paid the mortgage. Someone passed an evaluation. Probably be able to pay his mortgage. So yeah, big one. These are the days when you absolutely kill it. I just got out of US dollar, Euro Swiss this morning. So that was the H1M5 mean reversion from Monday. Propulsion gap hit. A little bit of a bounce, but hit on the propulsion gap high. So straight in, straight out on that one. Nice little trade. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar. We had a lovely drop on this one. So it's a new low, which is lovely. So we've broken that low. That's the low I said this morning. Remember, we need to crack that level there, which we've done. So assuming this accumulation doesn't hold up and support price again here, we should get that run down into this previous resistance, turn support in that propulsion gap. So hoping for another down candle off the back of this. So this is New Zealand dollar strength. So off the back of the news, the PMI figures for the US, the New Zealand dollar had a big old rally. So big strong move on the New Zealand dollar. US dollar, little bit of a drop, nothing dramatic. However, Swiss franc powered up nicely, yen powered up nicely. So remember what I said, when we get weakness in the US, money tends to flow out into the Swiss franc and the yen. Yen and Swiss franc both massively powered up during that news today. So the PMI figures came out. PPI. PMI. What was this one about PMIs? The I's. The P something I's came out. But anyway, it doesn't matter what it is. Month on month was a miss. Core was as expected. So it wasn't particularly bad. It was kind of an as expected result, slight miss. It's all about FOMC later. So we'll see what happens there. So Aussie, New Zealand, I'm holding on with gritted teeth at the moment. It's in profit. I'm really strongly considering taking the aggressive drawdown control positions off and doing some drawdown control. But the other side of me is saying new low. So wick off spring, accumulation, break, drop. If wick off works, that's what we'll see. If it doesn't, it'll push back up into that range. And if that's the case, tough. So I've got the way I'm looking at this at the moment is that is my leeway right now. So I can close out here with all 3 of these aggressive drawdown control positions that I've got on and bank 6%, or I can hold for the home run. Based on the fact that the account is 9% down this month, it makes sense to bank that 6%, but then it leaves me stuck in Aussie, New Zealand. If we get the home run, basically undoes all the loss, plus makes money, plus gets me out of Aussie, New Zealand. So those are the options. That's what's going through my brain at the moment. I still haven't made a decision. So I'm waiting until a little bit later. I'm giving this another hour or two to see which way this decides to go, and then I'll make a decision based on what it does. Afternoon, John. Afternoon, Burke. DAX, we had obviously a lovely ORB on. The US indices, very little movement off of the news. That's the 5-minute chart. It was an hour ago. 1, 2. Yeah, there's it. Yeah, even less than I thought. So very little movement off of the news. I was just looking at the Dow. The Dow hardly even moved. So that's all we got. So the open today, I think we've got a chance of getting some movement because they haven't actually put a lot of volume through on the PPI figures. So I think there's a good chance we might get a decent move at the open. So we'll see what happens there. DAX this morning bagged a grand. So it's $1,000 up today. Computer. Yeah, so $1,000 up this morning. So basically straight out the DAX, hit target, done, got taken out in the trailer. So we'll see where these US indices go. We've got 3 minutes to the open. So news today, obviously FOMC at 7 o'clock. I'm not expecting a massive move today. We may well get some movement. We've had a lot of movement on the yen and the Swiss, obviously, ahead of the FOMC announcement. So not expecting a massive move apart from those potentially. Meeting minutes later, followed by GDP for the New Zealand and the unemployment rate for the Aussie tomorrow. So just be aware of all of that. This is the big one today. Morning's news, not a particularly big amount. The PPI figures obviously came out, big whipsaws across the board. Other than that, US resumes diplomacy with Iran on prisoners and nuclear issue. I didn't see that. Just looking at what else. There's been loads of oil news. We'll look at oil in a minute. But there's no other news. I missed that one. Visa's CEO Kelly, the Fed would likely raise rates by 0.25. Well, if that happens, we're in all sorts of trouble. But yeah, doubt it. Weekly range just hit on the pound US dollar. For anybody interested, we'll look at the ADRs in a minute. We've got some ADRs. We'll look at the RSIs because they're all lit up like a Christmas tree. But we'll get ready for the market open. Not quite sure why Kelly thinks. I mean, I don't even know. It's Visa's CEO Kelly. Why would you think that the rates are going to go up by 0.25%? We've just had a big drop in inflation. There's absolutely no need for that. I don't know why they would think that at all. But never seen that person in the newsfeed. We will see. Just saw some news on Turkey as well. Erdogan accepted steps that Simsek and central bank will take. Again, Turkey's President Erdogan accepted steps that Simsek and central bank will take. Big movement on the Turkish lira. Look at that. Obviously, that's quite a big move on the lira, but we don't trade exotics, so cares. Come on, Aussie New Zealand, down you go. Right, we'll have a look at everything else in a minute. Let's just watch the open. We've got 14 seconds to go. So we'll see if we get a whipsaw like we did yesterday. Opening ranges are pretty good at the moment. Please don't freeze terminal. Oh my God. That's the end of the opening range breakout today. Terminal freeze. Marvelous. Right, orders have gone in. Okay, massive slippage, huge slippage, account busting slippage. So NASDAQ looks okay. S&P, huge slippage. So the order should have gone in there. So we should be, that should be TP. Cock up, basically. This is unbelievable, Robo Forex. I just can't explain it. I've never experienced this with a broker before. It's like they suddenly gone, you're making too much money. I tell you what, let's freeze him. Every time the market opens, let's not let him have any data. It's bizarre. I've never experienced this with a broker before. Anyway, there's your break short. That one would have hit TP if you'd have got filled there. That one, you're probably 1R at the moment. A bit difficult to tell. However, we are short every index. That one's obviously sitting in break even at the moment. God. What account size are you using? 100K. So it's a 1% target. Or not 1% target, it's 1% return. Unbelievable, their slippage. Look at that. Right, so there's the 15-minute opening range. So this slippage happened on both these accounts. Two different servers, two different types of account, both experienced the same data slippage at the open there. So this is Robo Forex across the board, not my terminal, not one account, not one demo, whatever. It's one company slipped across everything there. I don't know if anybody's on Robo Forex, if you experience the same thing. Got it on the live account as well. Okay. Shows you how important brokers are when you're trying to trade scalps like this. So we haven't hit TP yet on that. We're like pip off. That one, if you'd have taken the proper ORB, you've hit target on both of those if you got executed properly. But this will be a good little test if it doesn't manage to bank on these. Looks like it's going to stop out on the S&P. That's just not the right trade anyway. Still use the right amount of risk, so that's good. It's just obviously didn't have the data to put the right range in. Market had moved for X number of seconds before it actually managed to get the data in. So going to stop out in negative on the S&P by the looks of things. Big old spread on the S&P as well today. Yeah, stop. Oh no, sorry, stop. So up there. Sorry, I thought that was my trailer. That's the opposite side stop. Not stopped out yet. There's the stop. TP hit on NASDAQ. So TP1 hit. Second is break even. What a mess. Big whipsaw on the S&P. Tangen, we'll have a look at that in a minute. Afternoon, Baggy, XR update.news. Afternoon, morning, evening, whatever. Oh, I've got new icons appeared. What's that? Just giving myself 100%, whatever that is. We've got these little icons that they weren't there this morning. Something new. Right, S&P's just returned to the open. NASDAQ still short. Dow rejected the downside. Someone's giving me hearts by the looks of things. Oh, I do love YouTube. Had the icons a few days. They are in the way and can't get rid of them. Yeah, I don't know how you turn it off. And what it is. Just something new they've added, basically. Okay, so Dow's just pulled back up inside and attempting a second run on the shorts. NASDAQ, we're still inside bar on the first 5 minutes. So there's your 5 minute opening ranges in. If you're trading the 5 minute opening range break, those are your ranges. Too bad size today. It would be very nice if we can get a run like we did on the DAX this morning. Everybody's hitting those little buttons now. I can see there's lots of little 100% flying up and down the screen. Wonder if the data ping at open with the broker. Well, it's definitely broker related, yeah. But it's just, you know, when you're trading a strategy that relies on the open of the stock market to make money, if you don't have data at the open of the stock market, you can't make any money. It's simple as that. So if they're going to continue to do this, they're out the window. Everybody's putting little... Everybody, I'm going to do smiley faces. There we go. Smiley faces. I don't know if you can see it. I'm probably just amusing myself. So market's a little bit reluctant to go anywhere at the moment. NASDAQ's doing well, so locked in profit on the NASDAQ. S&P struggling, Dow also struggling. NASDAQ's nicely on its way to 5R. We were talking this morning about manual intervention when you're trading with EAs like this. And, you know, when you're looking at this, so I'm sitting now on 1.8% banked, running in 1.1% open profit. So right now I can just hit the X on all of that and close out at 2.8% today. Job done. $2,800. But that's the temptation. Obviously, if these all run down to 5 Rs, you would have been banking 9 grand, not 3. So obviously, choices you make as you're watching the market unfold, even if you're trading with automation, same as the position trading with the market reverse alerts EA, it may well get me into positions, but I will still watch what's going on, intervene with the EA. The EA is there as a blunt instrument to execute the orders. If I fancy this as close it all now because I've made 1.8K and I don't like the look of the market, I can do that. That's something you're never going to simulate in a backtest. Euro pound, we'll have a look at that in a sec. Just watching the open at the moment. I just want to see if we get inside bars form on these two at the moment. So we've got a new high there. So we're not going to form an inside bar, but we are struggling to make new ground to the downside. The NASDAQ is also struggling. It is obviously putting a bear candle in, but you can see we're bouncing off the bid here constantly. He says, just as the data freezes again. So there's a lot of buying pressure at the moment. And obviously you can see the S&P's kind of giving up the ghost at the minute a little bit. So this NASDAQ makes sense to close it out. I'm not going to. I'm going to let it run though. Okay, stopped out NASDAQ. Well, trailed in profit. Okay, so we've got inside bar form. We've got 30 seconds left on this candle, forming an inside bar. So sellers are not able to make any progress there. So again, your decision, cut, very small loss there, jump ship. That's not working. However, one of those two, we're either going to now, because we're inside bar, we're either going to break that way or that way, aren't we? It's going to break out one way or the other. So if it breaks to the downside and you've closed that out, there goes your loss. If it breaks to the upside, you've just saved yourself probably about 0.8%. Okay, so there's your inside bar in. We've got a higher high, higher low on the Dow. Bullish. Although the Dow is still trying to rally short. Okay, stopped out on the S&P. Potential to flip long. And just rally up into those highs. Let's just have a quick look at the indices and see where potentially we're going to go today. So obviously where we are with the Dow at the moment, we've got yesterday's low, which is basically what we've just tapped into. Yes, right now we just tapped straight into yesterday's low there, which has been bought up. So there's limits triggering at yesterday's low, and obviously out of this propulsion gap, which is where we tested and rallied from. So they're defending this area. Market wants to go higher. Upside targets today, obviously you've got the Globex high and then yesterday's high, which is up at ADR. So if we are rejecting this level, we've got to run up at ADR potentially. However, today, I would imagine that's more likely what you're going to get price action because of FOMC. S&P, again, rejected the Globex low. So there's your Globex low, traded straight into that, rejected. Upside target is Globex high. There's nothing above us. So really tight range on that. Difficult to tell where that one might go today. NASDAQ, no real obvious support there. So yesterday's low is got last week's high basically. Yesterday's low is on its way to ADR. Then we've got these propulsion gaps here. Upside target would be yesterday's high, which is also the previous day's high, double top. So third run on that, likely to reject today because they're not likely to try and rally and make a big run ahead of FOMC. Dow still coming down though, new low. So we've got lower high, lower low. Bit of confusion on the Dow. So there's your open. Higher high, higher low, bullish. Lower high, lower low, bearish. Real mixed bag today. Okay, S&P's flipped long. Look at that spread. That is nowhere near that order. Look at that spread. I'm getting a bit hacked off with Robo. I'm long S&P anyway, so we'll see what happens. Damn, should have held for 6R. It's going to push. You're talking about Euro US dollar? Yeah, you might find a weak US. Yeah, there you go. Let's move today. Aussie New Zealand still not going anywhere. Right, what pairs do you want to have a look at? Pound yen, euro pound. So pound yen we'll look at there. Euro pound is not on any list at the moment. So double bottom bounce. Potentially. Not extended on the RSI. So that was the last entry that I had there. Exit. Nice straight in, straight out. Same as the Euro Swiss, basically. Straight in, straight out. It's a double bottom bounce. We're expecting, obviously, positive news tomorrow from the Euro of the interest rates. So we should be getting an interest rate rise tomorrow. We got one last time as well. In theory, we should be getting a big bullish move on the Euro tomorrow. So where we are now at that nice double bottom, I would say is potentially a very good spot to be buying from. We have got a strong pound as well, though. So it's all going to come down to the news tomorrow. So any decisions you make on the euro pound, you're making them ahead of major news. So depending on what happens there, will determine whether or not you're going to draw down or you go and hit TP. This market's really got no legs at the minute. So this just feels to me like we want to do that. Doesn't feel like it wants to go anywhere at the moment. That NASDAQ was kind of the key today. They were just buying that up. They were pushing really hard on that, and the buyers were just not letting them through that level. So it's either going to rally high because we're in a bull market at the moment, or it's just going to whipsaw today, I think. So Dow absolutely stuck. S&P just struggling to make any progress as well. So if we can get TP on that, so that will pay for that stop out. That one, obviously, we've had 2 wins on. Dow, we're just not doing anything with at all. And that one does its own thing anyway. So right. So yes, euro pound. Pound yen at the moment, obviously, we're looking for a bear move on this. So nicely extended on the hourly. We're extended on the 4 hourly as well. So nice extension to the upside. It is bull. So it's counter trend trade. So I've got one position on that from Monday from the RSI extension, M5 entry, mean reversion. That area there, which is ADR basically today, which is the previous day's high, is the initial support. I'm targeting that propulsion gap there at the moment. Shorts. Yen strength, basically, but we've just had some yen strength come through, yeah? Look what the pound's done. So it just shows you how strong the pound is at the moment. Pretty good. So, in fact, that yen looks like it's undoing. So we had that little flurry. It looks like it's undoing itself. So not really yen strength, actually. It's not that strong at all, is it, really? When you look at it, it looked like it was, and it's kind of undone itself. Right, ADRs. So looking at ADRs, we've got no yens on there, but it's all New Zealand. So we've just had pound US dollar hit the weekly range. So that's Monday. That is now your weekly range hit. It is Wednesday, so potential for a midweek reversal. Obviously, US dollar today is going to be the key for that. So either it's going to fly the US dollar. If Visa's CEO is right and they do increase the interest rates, this thing is going to be down at 300 ADR later because we are not expecting an interest rate rise today. So US dollar will go through the roof if we get one. I don't think we will. So I think what we're more likely going to see is something like that or something like that. So we are extended on the hourly. So there will be a 5-minute reversal alert. This is an M5 mean reversion. So your entry will be there. So as soon as we get that bearish move there, that will be an entry short. So that is weekly extension. And obviously it is now extended on the hourly RSI as well. And it's probably a 4-hour, yes, a 4-hour RSI extension as well. So 3 reasons to get into that. 4-hour RSI extension, extended on the hourly, and it's a weekly hit. New Zealand dollar CAD. Yeah, totally stuck the dowlet. So literally we opened here. We closed there. Literally, that's your range of movement. Actual close price range of movement today on the Dow. It's literally 50-50 buyers and sellers. New Zealand dollar CAD extended on the upside. So that is an RSI extension. ADR extension. So that's 125 ADR. Your reversal alert hasn't gone in yet. So you're just about to get your reversal alert on that, probably next candle. This level here is your 2-week high. So that's that high there. Not a particularly great high, that one. It is the high from 2 weeks ago. That's the high of last week. But it's bang in the middle of this big collapse we had off of the New Zealand dollar. So this propulsion gap here is where they increased the New Zealand dollar interest rates, i.e. bullish collapse. So they caned that and completely squeezed everybody on that one. Got out of that one yesterday, New Zealand dollar CAD, and it's rallying further now. So potential push straight back up into propulsion for the New Zealand dollar. Obviously, if we get that weakness on the US dollar in FOMC, Canadian dollar is going to weaken. New Zealand dollar CAD is going to go up further. So we could be looking at 225, 300 ADR moves on these today. FOMC, if the US dollar weakens, everything's going up against Canadian dollar as well. Look at this thing. Terrible. So that's New Zealand dollar CAD. Is a mean reversion opportunity. So yeah, get in if you want to, but bear in mind you're getting in ahead of FOMC. Anything you get into today, 7:30 this evening, throw it all out the window. It could go absolutely anywhere. So any trades you take today, ideally you want to either have them protected or you want to be out of them by 7:30, which gives you basically, the afternoon. You've got 5 hours to sort your life out. Then it's going to go crazy. So up to you if you take any trades today, but there are opportunities there. New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Again, there we go. There's your propulsion gap. There's the news on the New Zealand dollar. Bullish interest rates should have gone up, squeezed it, pushed back, filled the gap. Again, so now gap filled, can take shorts. US dollar Swiss, that's come down to ADR. So your 5-minute reversal alert is there. Yeah, so again, this is a weekly level we've got here. This is last week's low. So it's not even tapped into it. We've screamed straight through it. So watch for a reversal alert, break above that level, push back up. So you're putting in a big propulsion gap here. Look. Yeah. Higher that wick, lower that wick. That's going to turn into a big propulsion gap in 8 minutes. So you got a target there on that accumulation break as well today, and you've got the previous targets up there. Again, propulsion gaps get filled, loads of upside targets, but that's going to require a bullish US dollar. Not sure we're going to get that today. So any US dollar positions you've got on, look for obvious support resistance zones today. If we get bearish news, or rather, I mean, if we get the interest rates coming out as expected, it's impossible to tell whether the market's going to be bullish or bearish on it. They will move on it, but what they do is up to them. If we get a bullish interest rate rise, i.e. they go up by 0.25%, which that's the first I've heard of it this afternoon, the first that anybody else has ever mentioned it, this thing's going to go through the roof. If the Fed comes out in the press conference and talks the US down, we're likely to push down. So this level here, 3-week low, is potentially where you're going to find some limit orders trigger. That will then push back up into the propulsion gap we're about to form. So there's a good buy down there potentially. You've got other levels coming up as well further down. So again, you can take it right now, but bear in mind, if you get into a long position here and this thing then just goes and sits like that, 7:30, flip a coin. You're either going to be in profit or draw down, one or the other. So just be careful with any USs you get on. RSIs, so let's quickly go back to the indices. TP hit on the S&P. Dow hedged. Look at that. You can't see it, can you? So we're hedged on the Dow. Well, I'm hedged on the Dow. Gone short. There's your stops. There's your entries long. Gone long. So I'm hedged. That's not much fun, is it? So locked in loss on the Dow. S&P still got one running. I'm just going to move that into break even just to make sure we don't stop out on that. And then I can close that hedge. So it's bank 2K. It's going to be $1.5 grand, isn't it? Depending on what happens with this. So if we get a big push on the Dow, then obviously fine, but guaranteed stop out for 1%. One way or the other, aren't we? So sellers are stepping in, limits are triggering up at the highs of the Globex session, which is also that previous high as well. Okay, stopping out on the Dow, so flip long. Okay, so long the Dow now. So it'd be nice if the S&P rallies and takes that stop with it. And if we can get 1.5 R there, it should be a 3K plus day today. But if the Dow decides to just rotate, that'll be the end of the day. We'll see what happens. We'll come back. Tune in 10 minutes. We'll find out. Right. So RSIs. So Aussie dollar yen. RSI extension to the upside at the moment on that one on the 4 hour. Obviously, we know the Aussie dollar has been rallying like a crazy beast. Obviously, when the New Zealand dollar started to come down. God, my fans have just gone mental on my PC. It's so hot in here. So when the New Zealand dollar came down, the Aussie dollar took over and started to rally. Then the Aussie dollar got positive interest rates, and the Aussie dollar decided to do what the New Zealand dollar should have done and rally. So we've had the perfect storm with this Australian dollar. It's just taken a complete advantage of everything else being weak in the market and squeezed really hard. So you're probably in, if you're in, you're highly likely to be in some Aussie dollar in some way, shape or form short. So this one obviously has got 4 positions on at the moment from that initial H1 mean reversion. As you can see, on the 4 hour, it's embedded and proper embedded for a long time. We looked at this the other day in here. You don't get embedded like this very often. Quite rare to get embedded and for the market to continuously push this parabolic. Normally, if you get a push, that's fine. You get a bit of a squeeze, but you get a pullback on it. Yeah, so 50% pullback. This is parabolic, absolutely no profit take. So there's always a profit take. Typically, even in a squeeze, you tend to get a profit take. None of it, the Aussie at the moment. It's just not having it. So we're extended above the 85 level now on that one. On the RSI, we're sitting at 86. So huge extension. At some point, this thing's coming down. So what we would love to see, double-edged sword, but I'd love to see the US dollar drop this afternoon, which will power up the yen potentially. And that will bring this one back down into check a little bit. Average on it is sitting at 1.25, so it's not the end of the world. 2 down days of ADR, and we're out. I will adjust targets on this one, though. So again, looking at the targets on it, I'm targeting this propulsion gap here, which is this rally accumulation break. So this is the area the buyers started a second leg. When we retest this level, we're likely to get that bounce. Exactly the same as we just had on the Euro Swiss. Yeah. Hit that level, bounce, large buy. Yeah, add. Whether or not there's enough sellers to power past those buyers that are adding to their positions, we'll find out. But you usually get some kind of reaction there. So Aussie dollar yen, it extended, embedded, literally just not. It's literally up, sideways, up, start. It's like an escalator at the moment. You know what happens to escalators? You fall down the elevator shaft at the end of them. So there you go. Aussie dollar yen, massive extension still. Aussie US, still extended, scaling out of this one. 4 positions on, not giving up the ghost. We get a weak US dollar, that's going to rally again. So propulsion gaps galore. This Australian dollar is just relentless at the moment across the board. It's just not giving up the ghost whatsoever. As soon as we got that extension on RSI on the hourly, we sat there and we literally bounced off the 50. There have been no sellers in this market for over a week now, week and a bit. Again, parabolic, not stopped. However, we are now right up at resistance. So this is last month's high. We are at right now. Previous month's level as well. So this is a really good spot for a drop on this Aussie US. So parabolic move, again, same as the rest. Just looked at it on the New Zealand dollar, looking to come back into propulsion at some point, at some level. But when, we don't know. Just waiting for the profit take move to kick in. Euro yen extended as well. Euro should be a bull, should be a buy, as you can see. It's very green. We're waiting for the euro rates tomorrow. Again, expecting bullishness off of those. We are expecting an increase. We are expecting the market to react positively. However, the yen, if the US dollar does for any reason rally, we will get some strength coming through in that yen. If it rallies, basically it's a double-edged sword with the yen at the moment. If the US dollar drops on FOMC, the yen is likely to power up. If the US dollar rallies and gets back up to that 140 level, the yen will probably power up because they will do some kind of intervention to keep the yen in check, the US dollar yen in check. So either way, it doesn't matter what happens with FOMC today. I think there's a good chance we're going to get some yen strength coming through today, tomorrow. So euro yen obviously is a nice short at the moment, extended on the 4 hour. We had I think we had an hourly. No, we didn't. Didn't get it, did we? So didn't quite give us the extension for a short yesterday on the hourly. So it's only a 4 hour mean reversion, but it is there. Monthly level just coming up as well on that one. So good looking opportunity for shorts. US dollar Swiss just hit RSI as well. Just quickly go back to the indices. Wow, look at you. So there's your opening range. So that's the 5 minute pre-market open. That's the high of the 5 minute opening range candle. We are going nowhere today. Oh, look at that. Decided not to stop me out. That's very kind of you. This could ruin the day, this Dow. So again, decisions to make. Sitting on $1,200 profit. Got an exit right now to walk away with $1,200. And these are decisions you need to make. Just because an EA in backtesting does a certain thing, in the real world, you've got to think about paying your mortgage and doing other things, haven't you? So you make decisions based on how your day, your week, month is going. But possibility, isn't there? We are in a bull market. Might get the rally, but we'll see. So that's your euro yen. Euro US dollar is extended on the hourly. That is just been hit, that one. So that's almost ADR. So we're about to get an ADR. Interesting, we're getting some ADR hits ahead of the news today. Big strong moves to the south on that PPI figure. So moving up again on that one. RSI extension on the hourly just hit the 70, almost back up at that 75 level. That was the last entry short there. If we get a rally and up to 125 ADR today, that'll be a good short opportunity as well. Nice propulsion target there. Got this one here again, which they came down, tested, bounced. Further propulsion gap targets to come back and sort out, but it's going to rely on the US dollar being strong, which I'm not sure about. So opportunity for a short there. You're probably going to get an ADR on that, so I'd wait a little bit further on that one. Pound CAD extended. That's coming down already. So there's your RSI extension. Didn't quite get, did get the 75. Not quite getting the signal on that. Just about to get a signal short on that in 2 minutes. So there's your entry short. Pound CAD. Again, Canadian dollar, US dollar will be linked. They will move the same way this evening. Pound Swiss and pound yen extended. So pound Swiss is a 4-hour RSI extension. That's already played out. You've missed it. The entry was this morning on that one. That came off the monthly high. Yeah, we looked at this morning, didn't we, for an entry short? There it is. There's your entry. Propulsion fill. So that's pound Swiss. Pound yen we've already looked at. That's extended. Got one position on that already on the hourly RSI extension. Pound US dollar extended on the 4 and the 1. So the 1's now up at 80, waiting for a reverse alert to get in short on this one. Just about to get it in a second. This is a monthly high as well. Again, this is 2-month high. Yeah, purple line. Sorry, this is last month's high. Purple line. That's your 2-month high. So we're sitting up there at ADR. Again, limit orders likely to be triggering here to push back down again. But obviously FOMC is going to move this one way or the other later anyway. So when you're this close to any kind of support resistance and a news event like FOMC is going to happen, you can kiss goodbye to any support resistance. There's no amount of limit orders that are going to stop that if the US dollar wants to go through there, or the pound wants to go through there against the US dollar. It's going to go. So always tricky taking trades when you've got big news events like this coming up, but that is really extended on the hourly. Look, we're up at the 80 level now. Yeah, so 80 level is the first time we've been at the 80 level since March, which was that pullback here. We had a little tap up there. As you can see, I took a short there. That was in and out. Very nice, easy, quick trade. Back up there again. So the beautiful thing about the pound US dollar, obviously, is you've got two majors. So there's always news driving these two up and down. Same with the euro US dollar. They're the most liquid markets we've got. So you're always going to get a lot of push pull, as you can see with this one here. Entry long, 1 in, 1 out. Entry short, 1 in, 1 out. Entry short, 1 in, 1 out. Entry long, in, out. Just in, out all the time. Welcome aboard, Vargas. Thanks for the subscription. Edward, I missed you this morning. I don't know if you're here, but I had my volume turned off this morning, so I didn't hear anybody subscribing. Let me just turn it up. So pound US dollar, yeah, good opportunity for a short, very nicely extended, drop down M5, wait for that reverse alert to kick in. Just missed it there. So that candle's just closed. You didn't get the reverse alert on that one. What was the other pound we just looked at? Pound CAD. So this one's just shy. So there is an alert there. That's a beautiful M pattern as well. Look. Doesn't get much more textbook than that. Beautiful short. Drop down into the high there. So that's yesterday's high, is it? Or previous? I think it's previous day's high. So that's yesterday's high. Previous day's high. Yeah, so that is your support. So could well get back down there before FOMC. So a nice little scalp short. Not extended on ADR though, but it is an RSI extension. New Zealand's. So New Zealand dollar CAD extended on the hourly. So we've just looked at this one. This is an ADR hit 125. Not quite got the reversal on that one yet. It's trying hard. Again, good looking M pattern. Not quite got enough sellers on board just yet. That's extended also now on the hourly, just over the 70 mark though. So good potential short opportunity on that one. Nice big propulsion gap formed there. Can't see that candle. So got a complete doji there. Reversal candle. Down to there. Quick ADR scalp. New Zealand dollar yen, New Zealand dollar US dollar. We've looked at these already. New Zealand dollar yen. Sorry, no, we haven't looked at New Zealand dollar yen. That's an extension on the hourly and the 4 hourly. So the hourly's back up there again. So we got there yesterday, up at the 70 level. We're just up there again. This continues and gives us an ADR today. That'll be a nice extension above the 75 level. So that'll be a good looking short. Propulsion gaps filled. Again, that's where the New Zealand dollar rates came out. That's where we're expecting the rally from. Market tanked, push back up, filled propulsion. New Zealand dollar, US dollar. So that is the ADR we've looked at already. M5, you've not had the reversal alert on that one yet. So that'll be a reversal alert. That is going to be a propulsion gap on the hourly. So nice big propulsion gap there on the hourly chart. So if it continues up there, look for a pushback into previous day's high, fill that propulsion gap. Obviously got one down there as well. But we have got this previous level of accumulation break, which got tested over and over and over again, and they just kept buying and buying and buying and buying. So that's a really good target to the downside as well. But we've been waiting for New Zealand dollar strength for such a long time to get back to that propulsion gap. We've also got those up there, don't forget. So this US dollar weakens, we could be up there tomorrow. So just be aware, anything you're trading against the US dollar. US dollar Swiss, again, that's just come down. We've looked at this one already. This was the ADR hit today to the downside. Again, waiting for the 5-minute reversal alert for an entry on that. There's your reversal alert. Potential long. But wait and see. So yeah, lots of opportunities everywhere, but FOMC. So you need to be aware that whatever you're going to get into today, if you're taking new positions, this thing is potentially going to kick it off. However, I've said this many times before and then been sitting there watching FOMC going, it happened, and nothing happens. So the market, don't forget, has been told for a long time, this is terminal rate. They are expecting a 5.25. If they get a 5.25, they'll be like, yeah, okay, now what? It's going to come down to that press conference. If nothing comes out of that press conference that is either hawkish or dovish, we're probably not going to go anywhere. We'll get some whipsawing, I'm pretty sure. We always do on FOMC. But whether we get any directional movement after that half an hour, we'll have to wait and see. So as soon as that press conference finishes, 8 o'clock, that is where you want to start looking for movement. Look for those breaks. So there'll be movement within the press conference because there'll be things said and stuff will shift around. But when that press conference finishes, that's when the market analysts will go, right, from what we understand from what he's just said, this is where we need to position ourselves. And that is where you get that big movement happening. Or they turn around and go, scorecard hasn't changed, guys, business as usual. Nothing happens. So you never know what's going to happen on FOMC, but just make sure when you're in stuff, you're aware. Protect things. If you've got massive profit in things, doesn't matter what it is, whether it's US dollar, pound, euro, whatever. If you've got profit, protect it. Because you can't get that profit back. You can bank it. You can put it as realized P&L. You can't get it back if it goes into drawdown. So just be aware. Big moves ahead, potentially. It's disconnecting again. Thank you very much. S&P still rallying. Nice profit locked in now on that. We're out of the Globex highs. So S&P, good to go, aren't we? Sky's limit. S&P. So there's no real targets upside on this. We're in the clouds. Next high is all the way up there, miles away. So we're running into this accumulation here. So this level of support there, which finally broke, is where we are. So we could find some resistance there, but that is really old. We're going back to April 2022 there. So that's a year old. Yeah, we're out in the clouds. This thing got nothing to stop it really today. Apart from the sellers. Gold paid the rent, Steve. Good job. Gold. We'll have a look at oil in a minute as well. So yeah, nice bull run on gold. Propulsion target in. Again, this is sideways at the moment, and it will stay sideways until this evening. Literally, we've gone nowhere. It's middle of May. So that's 3 weeks ago. So that is your range. In the last 3 weeks, that is your range. ADR on this is 251. In the last 3 weeks, this has moved 500 pips. So he's managed to do 2 ADR of movement in 3 weeks, up and down, and he's still bang in the middle of where it was. He's got no idea. Absolutely no bias on this. Flip a coin, hit the button, get out when it's in profit, then hit the button in the opposite direction, wait for it to get in profit, hit the button in the other direction, and just keep doing that until this thing breaks. Then take a position on it and get out when you can. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, 125. That's good. That means the New Zealand dollar is still pushing, which is lovely, which means Aussie New Zealand, hopefully, coming down. Right, we're going to look at, weren't we? Brian, range was 107.930 to 107.850, 8 pips. Got on the initial move on the highs. Oh, that's on Euro US dollar, yeah? So there's a long, stop out, short, whatever, break, bank, pay the mortgage, happy days. Some of the, I was testing the Euro Yen. Brian sent me a set file. I was testing the Euro Yen today with this strategy, which is a breakout of the 4-hour range in Asia. I was using a different range. I was using that range there rather than that candle, because this candle can be hideously skewed by spread and swap. So I was using the 1 hour to the 3 hour, or 1 hour to the 4 hour candle, basically, and just taking opening range breaks of that. The days like this, you just bank so much money, like 7, 10K, no problem. The other days where it doesn't move very much, what tends to happen is you get stopped out for small losses. You get the odd whipsaw day, but the days it goes, it really, really, really goes like this today. Yeah. And if you look in a backtester and watch this unfolding, it looks like, oh, you can literally see it. You see it go bang, 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 bang. We just had some news. You know when the news is happening. The news is what moves this market. You can tell when the news events are happening in the backtester because you can see it. You can tell this is normal price action. That's a news event. You can see it so clear. Days like that, you just hold on. And if you ride it, you'll make a lot of money with any breakout strategy. However, the days it doesn't break out, you'd be sitting there fighting and twiddling your thumbs, won't you? So there's an argument for breakout strategies. If there's no news events, don't trade. If there is a news event, stick it on. I think that's probably a good idea with any type of breakout strategy as a filter. S&P still rallying at the highs, guaranteed $500 locked in there. Dow is just pain in the backside. NASDAQ's just testing yesterday's high. That's 5R on that breakout long. See if we can get a bit more of a rally on this. Just notice this isn't updating. Why that is? Good. All right. Aussie dollar yen. We've looked at Aussie dollar yen, Marion. Just done that. That's a good example from this morning's live. Difference in brokers' price feeds. EU already hit ADR on your chart. Yeah. Euro New Zealand ADR. Let's go New Zealand. Euro US dollar is about to hit ADR in a second as well. So as your second ADR hit, Euro New Zealand. For the New Zealand dollar, I'd wait for this New Zealand dollar. Try not to get in the way of it at the moment because I'm short on this. I'm expecting it to continue down at least 500 ADR today because it owes me money. So yeah, big strong push on the New Zealand dollar. Although this Aussie is pushing as well. You can see the New Zealand dollar is rallying hard and hitting ADRs. The Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar is struggling. So we've got a very strong Australian dollar as well as the New Zealand dollar, which is typical. When the Aussie rallies, the New Zealand rallies. When the New Zealand rallies, the Aussie rallies. So when you're trading Aussie New Zealand, it's the most frustrating thing in the world because you get some strength in one of them, the other one stops itself moving. Pain in the backside. Fast becoming the thing I do not want to trade anymore as New Zealand. I've been in 2 squeezes in the last 12 months. There's New Zealand dollar yen ADR. Been in 2 squeezes in the last month. Both have been responsible. It's Aussie New Zealand. That one and this one. This thing. I have actually only been in 2 squeezes in the last 12 months. In fact, I've been in 3. 2 of them have been this. So I'm fast falling out of love with it. But if it can pay me back now, I will forgive it. And we will shake hands and agree not to do it again. US dollar CAD. Gulam. So US dollar CAD, we've got an extension to the downside on this one on the 4-hour, I think, isn't it? Yeah, just well, that we already extended. Maybe it's not. I could have sworn we'd looked at the 4-hour. No. So US dollar CAD. Did we not look at this morning? Maybe I was looking at this myself and I didn't do it in the live room. I'm constantly looking at charts, so yeah, I think I was looking at this myself. So this level here, yeah, I was doing this myself. I didn't do this in the live room. So this level here, we've got a double monthly low. So previous month's low, last month's low, which we basically tapped into, broke through, rejected, buyers started to buy again, failed. So there's a massive amount of selling pressure on this at the minute. This is your last chance saloon, this area here. So the fact that we've managed to squeeze through this level means that we've had an awful lot of selling pressure. So the sellers are going to be running out of orders here. They're going to be struggling to drive this any lower. FOMC is going to kick this off. So potentially, bear in mind this is US dollar CAD. If the US dollar rallies, the CAD rallies, and vice versa. So whatever happens to the US dollar in FOMC is going to also affect the CAD. Very similar to the Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar we've just been looking at. Aussie rallies, New Zealand rallies, vice versa. So you're going to find this is probably going to be the pair that is least affected by the FOMC movement. So if we can get a push back down on this today on some negative news with the US, there's a high probability this will spring back up again. Looking at the oil situation, we know that oil has been starting to rally off of this triple bottom. Yeah, so there's another level there. And we've got the longs on this, which means that that is bullish for the Canadian dollar. So there's arguments for both directions on this. Very difficult. I've got a triple trade on this already from the extension on the hourly. So like it as a long from where it is from this particular support area. That was the initial entry there. Off of this parabolic move. I mean, you look at the speed of this going from like 65, bang, in 24 hours, we were extended down at 80, 20 level. Huge sell-off. Didn't manage to get a profit take. So this is kind of parabolic in the opposite direction. The same as that New Zealand dollar move. This is kind of the same thing upside down. Except obviously the move that started it has been a little bit more choppy and a little bit slower. So either this is going to hold, or if it rallies through this, difficult to see the way back. If it does get through this level and pushes further, it's because we've had some negative news on FOMC for the US dollar. If that's the case, not a lot we can do about it. So I've got some US dollar exposure on at the moment, and it's, put it this way, I'd rather not have US dollar exposure on at the moment because I haven't got a lot of faith in the US moving forward from this point. We've hit terminal rate, I think, and I don't think the market is going to be particularly happy. For the last 3 months or so, every time we've had a positive news release on the US dollar, it's gone like that. Every time we've had the slightest negative news, it's done this, which indicates that the market is just not interested in getting into long-term longs on it. It's more interested in any reason to short the thing. So any kind of bearish sentiment coming out of FOMC and the Fed in the press conference, I don't think we're going to get a rally off the back of it. The market's factored in 5.25 terminal rate. If they keep the rate the same and don't indicate there's any reason to increase it because of the speed of this inflation drop, there's nowhere to go. The US dollar, but down. So, which means you want to be buying gold. And you don't really want to be buying oil, which I am at the moment. Oh, Dow, you're going to ruin my day. So we're rejecting on the S&P. We're going to stop out $500 profit on that on the second portion. That one, first portion's made $750 already, so that'd be $1250 on that. This is a double-ended stop out, which is 2K loss. That sounds like an ADR. Aussie dollar, US dollar. So this Aussie is really going for it at the moment, and the US dollar weakening. I think it's time to take this Aussie New Zealand off. This Aussie dollar's rallying. If we get any kind of weakness in this New Zealand dollar, so we've got a strong New Zealand dollar at the minute. Obviously, the Aussie dollar's rallying quite hard as well. If they take their foot off the gas on the New Zealand dollar, there's only one way that's going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trail it at 80. Euro, US dollar. This is US dollar weakness. So I'm going to trail the aggressive drawdown control positions. And I'm going to trail that top position there. I'm going to trail that aggressive. This is an aggressive drawdown control position as well. Here, this 6.3 is an aggressive. So I'm going to trail those. I will get stopped out on them. So either we are going to get another decent bear run, or we're going to accumulate. And if it tries to break, I'll exit those. And then I'll make a decision as to what to do with this, because at the moment we're sitting in 3.2% profit. As you can see, 11% down on the month at the moment. Obviously, bear in mind this is trading everything, which is why it's in so much trouble at the moment. But there's a good opportunity to get a lot of that back. So if we can carry that rally on, would be very nice. I can decide what to do with it later. Right, stopped out S&P in profit. So $1,800 banked, but we're going to take a $1,000 loss on the Dow. So overall loss in the New York session. So nice DAX. Dow ruined it today. So nice. Anybody got any other pairs I want to look at? My computer, I can see my computer over there. There's almost smoke coming off of it. Must be 30 degrees outside. Starting to melt. Of course, this could stay within the range. If this gets back up to here, I will probably close that out manually. Just take that 2K. Gulam, US dollar CAD. I literally have just gone through US dollar CAD because you just asked for it, and you've just asked for it again. Is the stream frozen or something? Literally have just stopped talking about it. Yeah, drew this big yellow line. Is it ringing any bells? Am I going mad? Take it off. So yeah, US dollar's obviously coming down again. So just be careful with the US. Everything's pushing against the US ahead of FOMC. So is this a trap? Network problem, Gulam. Well, can't help with that. Go and watch the replay. Hit rewind about 15 minutes, 10 minutes or so, and you'll find it. So this could obviously be a trap. They're weakening the US dollar. They're coming out of the US. Are they coming out of the US to entice shorts so that they can take out everybody this afternoon? Or are they coming out of the US because they know that they're going to come out of the US hard later and they want to start the move now while there's liquidity in the market? Those are the questions. One of those two is happening. We don't know which. Come on, Dow. Hold those lows and pop back up there. So total range bound whipsaw today on the Dow. The other two are done all right. Want one of those days where we get just one of those breaks that goes like that across all indices at the same time and sit here and just go, that's 9 grand. I'm done. Those are the days. Right, that's all I've got for you this afternoon. Obviously, FOMC this evening. I don't trade live on FOMC. News trading's just suicide. So after news, however, once that press conference is over, any bracketed timeframes you choose after that press conference, if it is going to go, that tends to be when it goes. So you might get a decent run at 8 p.m. through to market close, 8 p.m. UK time, that is. So just bear that in mind. There is an opportunity for news trading, but you want to take it after the press conference. So overnight, you've got Australia and New Zealand news. Again, another reason I need to be keeping an eye on this Aussie New Zealand because of that news. We got overnight news. So I'm going to be out of this in one shape or form at some point, probably in the next 20 minutes or so, 10 minutes even, the way this is going. So if it pushes, it pushes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Crude oil inventories just come out, 7.9 million barrels on a forecast of negative 1.5. That's bullish oil. Good one, oil. So it comes down. So that's bullish oil. No, sorry, it's bearish oil. What am I talking about? Bearish oil. Yeah. So we've got more barrels than we're expecting. We're expecting to have a deficit. We've got a stockpile. Therefore, there's more supply than demand. Therefore, price comes down. Usually, oil doesn't pay any attention to its barrel count. It just does what the hell it likes. So my break-even stop on this is down here somewhere. So as long as we stay within ADR today and we continue that leg up, it's a good opportunity to buy oil at the minute off this bounce. Right. I will leave it there today. If you've got anything else, let me know in Telegram. I'll be in there. Back tomorrow morning, 7:50 for the Frankfurt session, and obviously back tomorrow afternoon for New York. all going to kick off or not between 7 and 8 p.m. this evening. And then if you're in any Aussie and New Zealand, potentially going to kick off while you're asleep. And then tomorrow afternoon, we've got the euro rate. So after the Asian session, we're not going to get a lot of movement. It's going to be a fairly flat morning while we're waiting for the euro rates to see what they do. Typically, obviously, we get an as expected with the euro. They don't tend to deviate much. The market deviates, which is what went wrong with the euro rate last time, but they don't deviate. So we would expect a 4 off the back of that as well. Then we've got retail tomorrow and unemployment for the US. So again, any moves on FOMC, potential to get completely undone. So total news chaos this week, all week, which is good because it helps us make money. Trading, the most frustrating endeavor. Yeah, exactly. This is what I was saying this morning in the live room. My wife's cousin asked for advice because his son was looking to get into day trading. Basically just told him, don't do it. There's much better jobs out there that pay very similar money and are way less stressful. Doctor, brain surgeon, pilot. You're going to earn just as much money doing those three. You need the same brain power to do them, but you just don't need 100k in capital to make the money. Unless you want to be a pilot, then you do, because you've got to pay for your pilot's license, which is about 100k. So that's actually a lie. Oil's coming down quite hard. But see, that's today's low. So see if that propulsion gap holds. It's not a very good propulsion gap because it's part of a U shape, but it's not. That's where they bought it from. So we'll see if that holds. If not, we've got a bit of movement coming in on the Dow as well. There's a bit of volatility coming in on the indices. I'm trying to go, but stuff's happening. So a little bit of a fluctuation there. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Tomorrow morning, 7:50, same time. I will see you then. Good luck with FOMC. I'll be in Telegram. If anything exciting happens, I'll put it in there. But otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day.